2008. Discontent turns into confrontation. Around the world, people take to the streets.
They use tear gas, electric buttons, plastic bullets. It was a very, very hard day.
Protests like these in Dakar in Senegal spread to many other cities. There were similar riots in Egypt and in India. In Haiti, the president was overthrown. The reason? High food prices. One of the major causes, climate change. Villagers are leaving their homes simply to survive. Cities like Dakar are overflowing as more and more newcomers arrive. Could the answer to these food shortages lie in science?
To deliver food security in the developing world, we need another green revolution that includes Africa.
Dakar, Senegal. Population around 2 million. The gateway to West Africa. In 2008, people took to the streets when the price of rice doubled in just 12 months. Moma Ndao helped organize the protests.
The price was rising from 280 to 350 on one day, and it was unacceptable. It is unsupportable. It's time to say no, finish. They have to stop the rising of food prices in this country.
Food production in Senegal has been badly affected by drought. It is a country hard hit by climate change. Temperatures have risen by 1.6 degrees centigrade in the last 30 years. That is more than double the global average. With the decline in its agriculture, Senegal has to import more food, over half of what it needs. The head of the UN panel on climate change warns food security is becoming a major issue.
Some of the poorest regions in the world are the ones that are going to suffer the most. And it's going to become a problem for the whole global community.
It is not just Africa. In South Asia, the food supply to 1.6 billion could be at risk because of climate change. By 2050, the number of children who won't have enough to eat could reach 24 million. In response, scientists around the world are working on new crops.
With marker technologies, we can identify the actual genes in root systems which will cope better with drought conditions, and then look for these traits and markers, perhaps even transfer them to other species for use in the developing world.
People are finding new ways to adapt to the changing weather.
Mais dañuy aar garab yi ñu fi fekkoon ñu jëmbataat ñu dolli ci bu ko defee changement de climat bi dana arrêté désert bi dana arrêté.
All this is to try to stop people going hungry.
With a rising population, more consumption of animal protein, with rising incomes, and at the same time having reached a kind of a plateau as far as supply is concerned, there is ever present the danger of large-scale famine. Clearly, we could have a crisis in several parts of the world.
A major cause of the rice crisis in 2008 lies here, New South Wales, Australia. 7 years of drought in this key rice-producing area means prices have soared. Farmers like Laurie Arthur have had the worst harvests in living memory.
At the moment it's very bleak. For the last 3 years I've grown no rice. Last year the Australian rice industry produced 19,000 tonne from a high of 1.7 million tonne, about 1% of what it used to grow.
Laurie is concerned how the people who normally rely on his rice are faring now.
Generally we produce about 10,000 tonne of food each year. That would feed about 100,000 people around the world for a year, and most of our production is exported. I presume they're getting their food from somewhere else at the moment, but they're certainly not getting it from here.
Poor harvests in Australia are not the only cause of the rice crisis. High oil costs are also to blame. Some countries hoarded supplies. Grain traders speculated on the price rising, and it did, spectacularly. From June 2007 to August 2008, it doubled in price to just over $1 per kilo. At Dakar's port, the latest food shipment arrives from overseas, rice from Thailand. Last year, Senegal imported around 80% of the rice it needs, making it vulnerable to world markets and changing prices. Even the importers are worried.
Il y a quelques pays qui produisent pour tout le reste et que les consommateurs de riz augmentent jour en jour. Donc les spéculateurs, ils sont sur la monnaie parce que même vous pouvez vous en passer du carburant. Mais le riz, vous ne pouvez pas vous en passer parce que vous ne pouvez pas ne pas manger le riz. La situation est anarchique. L'année dernière, on avait vécu une situation de crise qu'on a surmontée grâce à Dieu. Si ça revient, une autre fois, ça peut être fatal.
Rice being unloaded at the port in Dakar. But with the price doubling in just over a year, it is often beyond the means of many Senegalese families. For some, it means just one meal a day.
Rice is the main cereal consumed in Senegal. Every Senegalese people eats rice at least one time a day. And the prices are unreachable. All Senegalese people are now fighting to have enough money to have 3 meals a day. In some houses, there is only 1 meal a day. And that's why it is unacceptable to see the prices going so high.
The increasing cost of rice puts a serious strain on family budgets. For many families, like Keba's, there is simply less to go around.
waaw ceeb bi moom seer na gis nga ko jën bi bon jën bu mag mënu ma ko am man moo tax ceeb bi lay obligé di lekk nii nit ñi tey ji tey ama benn nit ñi jeexal naa ceeb jeexal ne yàlla xam doy na daal.
Keba has 2 wives and 8 children to feed. He earns just 2,000 Senegalese francs a day, not quite $5. Less food on the table means his children's health could be at risk.
nagoon suma sago moom bon buñ toggee añ bi dafay neex dana doy bon waaye mënu nekk bon ni nii ceeb lañ mën a buñ toggee añ bi nii tibb reer bi moo ñu reer amul benn pexe da ngay muñ daal.
The issue of food security is thrown into sharp relief by ex-farmers like Keba. Drought and climate change mean he has abandoned his fields, which once provided food for the nation, to try and make a living in Dakar. 6 a.m. and it's an early start for Keba. Instead of fetching water for his crops, he now earns his living very differently, selling newspapers.
Dakar bon neexut niñ koy foogee ak ni muy demee du doon benn aussi am na ko yoo xam ne amul sécurité bon man nga demit gis koo xam ne da nga xiif am loo lekk wala nga gis ku la abal foo fanaan mais da nga ñëwit nag doo am foo fanaan doo am loo lekk Dakar moom neexul.
Once the morning rush is over, Keba reflects on his true roots as a farmer.
nekk baykat man moo ma gënal njaay journal bay bi bu fekkee ne da nga ji mu sax nga bay ko mu set gàncax gi dafay wert day rafet bon surtout nag boo xamee ne mi ngi taw muy tooy bu fekkee baykat mag dëgg nga moom doo mën a toog ci kër gi il faut rek nga dem ci tool yi di xool suba gi ak ngoon gi foofu lay gën a rafetee daal.
Like Keba, many of the new arrivals only know farming. They have little education. The only option for most of them is selling on the streets. Waves of migration have pushed the city to breaking point. Dakar's mayor says the city is struggling.
Dakar, c'est un petit espace, c'est une presqu'île. La ville ne peut pas se développer parce qu'elle est limitée par la mer dans ses trois côtés. Ces populations qui viennent ne sont pas toutes des populations alphabétisées, ne sont pas toutes des populations qui ont un métier. Donc c'est des gens, ensuite elles n'ont pas de culture urbaine, puisque nous n'avons pas d'espace, nous n'avons pas d'infrastructures suffisantes. Nous avons beaucoup de problèmes pour avoir suffisamment d'écoles, pour avoir suffisamment de routes, mais surtout pour avoir un réseau d'assainissement efficace. Tout ça, c'est des difficultés. Et nous avons plus de 2 millions d'habitants, c'est-à-dire que la densité de la population est plus forte qu'à Londres ou à Paris.